Hello. How is everyone tonight? Can let me know if you can hear me and you can see me. I want to make sure everything is okay and that you guys can see me and hear me. Hello, Tammy. Yes, I can hear you. Yay. Okay. So those that already have received your stamp set, if you want to color along, I am going to do the Phoenix tonight. I haven't chosen my colors or anything yet because I like to match them a bit with my background. And I'm going to try and turn a little bit more light on in here. I think that's too much. But now I can see my markers. Hello, Timothy. And hey, Karen. By the way, I am actually in Oklahoma at a different location in a hotel. So I'm coming to you straight from a hotel. So I'm doing the best I can, but I was having problems with Wi-Fi, which is why I'm a few minutes late. I apologize for that. We are going to use the magical birthday. So on Tuesday, we did the unicorn. So tonight, we're going to do the Phoenix. So I have already stamped out my little Phoenix. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring the zoom in. So I'm going to have to just do the best that I can with making sure that you guys can see what I'm doing and that it's focused on here. It's clearly when I remove my hands, it goes out of focus. So I think what I'm going to do is grab a paper to put underneath. I have some paper here that I think will fix that. Or at least I hope it will. Let's see if we can get us a better board here for you guys to be able to see with everything focused in. Okay. So that may be a little bit more helpful to keep us focused in on our image, but it may fade just a little when my hands aren't in the picture, in the frame, but I'll try to do my best to keep them in there. So I'm going to start with coloring the beak and the legs. And I'm going to use a little bit of a brownish yellow for that. We're going to do the Phoenix, but we're not going to do it in orange. Tonight, I'm going to use a different color because I really want it to match this particular background that we have. And while orange will match that background, I want to make it a little bit more bright. So I think I may go with more of a teal aqua type color for our Phoenix tonight. So I think that's what we're going to do. And we're going to roll with that. So I have pulled YR27, YR24, and YR23 to start off with. Oh, look, it's helpful to have the markers in the picture. Okay. So here we go. I hope everybody's having a great week. It's almost Friday. Take a deep breath. It's almost Friday. So that is amazing. We are going to do this in step by step. So if you have your image and you'd like to color along, feel free to join us. For this particular spot, I'm going to start dark to light. So grab your 3 markers that you want to use, a dark, a medium, and a light, and we'll roll from there. So I'm going to start with the back side of the beak. So way back here, I'm going to put some of this really dark YR27 in there. And then I'm going to do right where the 2 meet, the top beak and the bottom beak. Hello, Cheryl. Welcome, welcome. I'm doing really well. I'm just a little out of sorts tonight because I'm not in my regular location, but all is okay. I am currently in a hotel doing a girls' weekend with my friend Angela, that most of you know because she pops in here from time to time. We took a nap, so we're feeling well refreshed. I went along the backside of each of the legs and then around the little nails and the bottom of the feet to get the bottom part of the feet started. And then we're going to switch to the YR24. And we're just going to pull the color and extend a little bit further from where we put the original. And then the bottom one, we're going to just fill that in. We're not going to have any highlight because it's underneath the top beak. Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm well refreshed and happy. I'm going to go right up close to the fur. And then I'm going to draw in these little spots where the artist drawn lines are. And a little bit over the back of the foot. And then I'm going to leave the top of the foot for the highlight color, which is going to be our last color, which in this case is going to be YR23. Hi, Barbara. And Angela's here. She's in the room with me, but she's also online, you guys. Thanks for the reminder. We are in a Zoom meeting working on Procreate, so I will multitask. Oh, I love multitask. Okay, I'm going to go from the outside of the beak in so I can keep the edge of it just a little bit different. It's got a little bit of a highlight, sort of hard to see on camera, but it's there. And then I'm going to finish filling in the little feet with this color. These colors are all pretty close. So I think now that I have colored that in, I'm going to go back in one more time. I don't do this all the time, but for this particular scenario, since I chose colors that were very close, I'm going to go back to the YR27 and add in some depth right up here towards the back of the beak. Just a little bit more to add a little bit of depth to that. And then I'm going to color the talons in this dark, dark color. So we get our little talons colored here. There we go. And then because I can see a really dark line, I want to soften that line. So I'm going to use the lightest color to soften that line. So if you can tell, there's a dark line right towards the back. So I'm going to take my YR23 and I'm just going to work right along that line to soften that up. Just a little bit. And that makes the beak have a different comparison color between dark and light. So next I'm going to pull the colors that I want to do the bird. And I think I'm going to go a bit of a 2 to 3 tone colors. So I don't know if you guys have actually seen me do this before, but we're going to do it. I'm going to choose some of the BG colors so we get a bit of a dark teal, and then it's going to fade into like an aqua blue green color, and then on the tips we're going to put a pink color just to give it a little bit of fun. So we're going to start with, let's see, I'm going to pull the colors now. We're going to start with BG18. And then we're going to go to BG15. And then we're going to go to, I think, BG34. We'll do a swatch to make sure this all works out the way that we want it to. And based on the BG34, I may add the pink next, but let's see how light we are. I want the pink to be really, really light. So I'm going to grab this piece of paper and we're going to swatch it out. Forget who colored that in blue. It was so pretty. I don't know if someone else colored it in blue, but I absolutely colored it in blue, and I colored it in orange so I could have fire and ice. I thought that would be really fun. So here's the BG18. It's pretty dark. I wonder if I can brighten this up. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh, that might be a lot more helpful, huh? I have just a little bit brighter color there. And then I'm going to use the BG15, which is going to be a very nice smooth transition between the 18 and the 15. And then I want to go to the 34, which is going to lighten up even lighter than that. It's going to be more of a green, less of a blue. And I think I'll pull one more. Let's try BG32 and see how it goes in comparison with that. I think that lightens it up even more. And then I think I want to go into the pink. So we're actually going to have a 5-color combination here. And I think I'm going to try and go in with RV21. Let's see if it's too dark. Ooh, too dark. I need lighter than that. So let's try RV10 and see if that gives us, oh yeah, that's going to be nice. Let's use that. So we're going to make the tips and some of the accents with pink on the edge of our little phoenix. Okay, so here we go. Let me put back in right in focus for you so you can see it. We have our markers right here beside us. These are going to be the 5. We have BG18, BG15, BG34, BG32, and RV10. So those are going to be the colors that we're going to use to color up our adorable little phoenix here. But I think I'm going to, I tried the RV21 and I thought it was too dark, but I think I'm going to start off real quick with RV21. And these little centers of the feathers, I want to give them a little bit of depth as well. So I'm just going to put this RV21 on one side of them. And then we'll use the R10 to finish those off. But I want to get just a little bit darker in there. Now the tips of the wings, they're just going to have the really light color. So this is a little bit different than what we normally do, but we like to switch it up just a little bit. Okay, so here we go. Everybody ready? We're going to go with our BG18 and we're going to start off with the dark shadow areas. So I'm going to turn my phoenix a little bit because it's easier to work on the wings if it's sideways. So I'm going to start on this wing that's closest to me so that I can brush stroke towards myself. And I'm going to use these artist drawn lines as a guide. So I'm going to start right here and I'm going to get this really dark color in here. And then I'm going to extend it a little bit through the artist drawn lines. And I'm going to keep going all the way down right up there close. I want to keep that depth between those feathers and these feathers. I need that to lay down. There we go. And I'm going to keep going around the edge of each one of these. And we have to do it on both sides. So we want some of them stopping short and some of them going long. So you can already see the depth building within that separation of feathers. And that's what we're looking for, is getting that depth in there. So I'm going to keep going here. So if you're following along, you'll keep going as well. Here we go, each one. As they get smaller, there's less ink, tinier brush strokes. They get a little bit more challenging, so that's why I started at the top for those that are new. It gives you a little bit of practice on what we're doing before we get down to these really tiny areas. So I got a little wonky right there, so I'm just going to fix that. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do exactly the same thing on this other side. But because we just did tiny, I'm going to start in the tiny section. And I'm going to start working myself around. This process takes a little bit, but the impact of what you have when you're finished is so amazing that it's worth taking your time to do this. So here we go. We're just following it along. You can speed it up a little bit if you're used to it, but if you're not, you'll want to go at the slower pace that I'm going right now. And then feel free to ask any questions if you have any questions. That's what I'm here for. And I want you to color your images that you got. So definitely ask if you have any questions. There we go. Now we're going to flip him back around where we did originally. And now we're going to go on the inside set of feathers. So these don't have an artist drawn line in there, but we are going to enter one in there anyway. So just following the same thing we did above. It's just that the artist didn't put the lines in there. But we're going to put one little line in there, just like the bigger one. You guys are quiet. I hope that means you're coloring along, playing along with me tonight on this Thursday night. If you like these kind of videos and you want to see more, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you click that notification bell so that it notifies you when I go live. They are Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central. You're going to flip to the other side now and keep going. We will be adding more videos soon, so keep a lookout for those, more video times for some more practicing, learning to color, and with other markers as well. Just watching, but we'll hopefully watch again and color later. Okay, great, Tammy. So we're almost done. Like I said, this is a tedious detail, but it makes such an impact that you don't want to skip doing this. Could I just color these in halfway and, get them done? Yes. But look at the impact of that already, and we haven't even finished anything yet. So this last set of feathers right here is like it's all connected. There's no separating them like the other two. So what I like to do with this one is I like to just start about right here and just do a line. Just like a little, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just one little line there. And then wherever these feathers are, that's where I do that little line. It's almost like we're making our own line for feathers so that we get that third row. So on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. This line went underneath that little feather under his neck, but this side, the artist drawn line stops here, but this is about where I pick it up and take it around that edge, just like that. You can make it a little bit darker if you wanted. I used a very light touch on that because I don't want it to be really, really dark. Hello, Anne. I'm so happy you guys are here. And then again, we're going to do the same thing, adding just this one little fleck wherever there's a feather. This is just adding more accented detail that's really going to make that stand out. So for the darkest color in the wings, that's where we're going to stop. Now we do need to have some of this on the rest of the bird. I'm going to assume that the light is kind of coming straight down on the bird. So we'll have a little bit of dark on both sides of the body because it's rounded. So for this back side right here, I'm going to do underneath the feather and then on the artist drawn line. And I'm going to go under this feather and over this because this one's overlapping that one, this one's overlapping that one, and so forth. So the underside of that and all the way down. I'm also going to outline the artist drawn line because it's there for a reason. It shows the feather shape, and I want to have that going down here. And then there's an extra artist drawn line right here, so I'm just going to add to that. This one all the way along there. And then this part right here, I'm going to add a bit of shadow right here. And I'm going to come back over to this side, and I'm going to add a little bit along the back side. And I'm going to accent these parts of the fur right here. So underside of that one, and then along the back edge. I'm not going to do that on the front just yet. I'm going to leave it just like that. I'm going to do some for the neck right here, and some a little bit on this side, but only smaller area. So we have it looking something like this. In this case, all of this is going to be fur, and we're going to be building that in. So I'm going to do just a few little strokes to kind of separate the neck from where the chest hair is going to be. And then I'm going to put just a little bit with these artist drawn lines, making them just a little bit bigger so we can really see them. And then doing the same thing on this lower piece. So we are going to have layers of feathers and layers of feathers and layers of feathers. So I'm going to come along this one. This time I'm going to brush stroke down instead of up. Just kind of gives us a little bit different of a design. Right here where this leg is behind the body, we're going to put some shadow in there. These little parts are so tiny down here by the legs, but wherever they pop up to a point, I'm going to extend that and make it a little bit longer. Underneath the wing right here and along the back side of the bird, I'm going to put some shadow there. And then I'm also going to do it on the back side of the leg, just like that. And then a little bit right here on the front side. So that's kind of putting in just the depth part of the image. And then we have to go to these feathers on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is start by the one in the back between the legs. So we need all of that to remain dark. So I'm just going to color all of that in this darkest color. It's in shadow, it's behind everything. I don't need any highlight down there, and I certainly don't want to accent that area of my image. On here, I'm going to do between each one on the top of the line, because that is showing that one feather is in front of the other. So this is the front feather, this one's behind, that one's behind, that one's behind, that one's behind. So that is what we're looking at. Hopefully that makes sense to you. If you've colored before, or if you just know a little bit about this, you'll understand what that means. If not, just watch me and you'll see what I'm talking about. And any of those little lines that go up to the pink spots we did, I want to put them in the dark color as well. Now, I'm only going to do this bottom one, the underside of this bottom one. I'm not going to do it on the top two. I just want to show that there's a lot more shadow down at the bottom than there is at the top. I'm going to repeat this same process on the other side. The feathers look the same on both sides. So Timothy said, I know this, I've said this before, but you are truly an amazing instructor. Thank you, Timothy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I try to think about how it was when I learned, and then I try to help with the questions you might have as well. But sometimes it's just a thing. I always wanted to be a teacher when I was little. It never really worked out that way for me. So now I get to do that in my older age. Not that I'm that old. I'm still young. And I'm going to stick to that. The other day, somebody was asking how old we were, and I said, I'm 35. And you know that's not true. But one can believe they're 35, can feel 35. Remember, we're only going to do the underside of the bottom one, not these two, because they're up and out in the open. So you don't need to do that one just yet. We are going to put a little bit of color over the nose, but we're not going to do that until we do the next shade. So I would just hold off on that just yet. We close this marker. We have all of our shadow areas in, and already you can see definition within this adorable little phoenix. Now it's time to move into marker number 2, which is BG15. So we're going to flip our little bird around in the same direction we had it when we started the last time. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our marker halfway into the dark color that we did already, and we're going to extend out from there. You don't want to go too far because we have several more markers. I usually, when I'm coloring something all in the same shade, I would go up here and do the underside of this feather, but I want the tips to be pink, so we do not want to put this color all the way up in the tips. We want the tips to be pink. So we're just extending a little bit further than where we put our original color. And since we have that base foundation of dark color in there, we don't have to go as slow. We can go just a little bit faster. The truth of the matter is, the more you think about your brush strokes, the harder they are to do. The more you just flow and learn how to get your hand to work in that flicking motion, the faster, the easier it is. It's scary and you want to think about it, but if you just let go and let the marker help guide you and don't think about it so much, it'll just all come together for you. That takes time, so don't expect it to happen overnight. But at some point you're going to be coloring and you're going to realize you're not thinking about every single brush stroke as you do it. And that's what I call the aha moment. That's when you're like, I got this. I got this. So don't beat yourself up if you're thinking about every single stroke, but I'm going to tell you, it's easier when you're not. So just keep going. We're going all the way around. Again, this takes some time, but it's so worth it in the end. So be patient and give yourself a chance to really experience how amazing it can look. So now you can start seeing that definition starting to feather out. It's absolutely beautiful and it's only going to get better. So keep going. We're going to follow that same process with this one. And now that we know we're going to be doing the same process, we're going to do this part as soon as we finish this, so we don't have to keep flip-flopping our poor dizzy little phoenix. And I try not to flip the images when I'm showing how to color, but honestly, with this one, you kind of have to because there's so much detail. It's just going to come out easier and prettier if you do. So what I'm going to do is just do a brush stroke over the one that I already put in there. Don't worry about filling everything in. We don't need to do that yet. We're just going to accent that one little line there. And now we're going to flip it over and do the other side. So you can see the difference coming to life as we're doing it. So much dimension. Okay, we're going to do a little bit here. If you have too much of one color in there, or if you color this whole thing in with this color, don't beat yourself up. It's okay. It's just paper. You can always try again. There we go, a little bit more here. And as you learn to color, you'll make that decision yourself on how far you want that brush stroke to go, and that's going to be personal style. So follow me until you feel comfortable going rogue and doing your own thing, and then do it. Do your own thing because you'll get something beautiful as well. So each one of the wings are done. So now we're going to start with the top and work our way down just like we did before. I'm going to expand out a little bit from where I put that original color. And since this is underside, I'm just going to fill that in as well. And then this one, I'm going to bring that in, extend out. I want to start building where this ends and the face starts, but we're going to do that with the next color. So don't do any of that yet. Just start expanding from where you put this original color. Just giving it a little bit more. The bigger the feather, the little bit more ink you put on there. The smaller, the little bit less. So there we go. All right, now we're going to extend from here just a little bit down to the eye. We're going to come in here and put these little brush strokes wherever the points are, where the feathers are, and then we're going to go along the side of the face. We didn't do anything on that side under there with the last color, so this is where we're going to get the depth for this one. Now here, we're going to start brush stroking all along this back side right here, a little bit in this one, extending a tad bit further. That starts to build that in. Now I'm going to do one little line over the beak for now. It'll look a little funny, but bear with me. We're going to do a little bit more with that here in a little bit. Hey, Mama. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Brian. Welcome. Everybody, welcome, welcome. Now, this part on the neck, we just put a few random brush strokes. Now we're going to just put a few more in between wherever we put those original amounts. We're going to start moving our way down the body of the phoenix. So I'm going to brush stroke from the centers, like not over top of where I put the original color, but kind of in between, in both directions. So we want to start building that fur just a little bit. And then on this piece right here, we only did down. So we're going to keep going down, adding just a few more brush strokes, extending a few of the ones we already put. I'm going to put just a little bit more at this back end. And then we're also going to do a few up. We want to start building a little bit of fur in this layer. We don't want this layer to be significantly lighter than all the rest. We just want to have a little bit of color in there. So this back side, we did that all dark. So we're going to start extending from where that is. Same thing with this piece right here where the leg is. I'm going to do along the inside of this leg. We're going to do up from the center right here, down from this part right here. And then this part, I'm just going to touch with 3 little dots right towards the edge of each one of those above his leg. That just kind of fills in that color and gives us a solid line down there. Now for these down here, we're going to do the same thing we did before, which is extend out from where we put this original color, making it a little bit longer. I'm going to do the same thing along the bottom side of this one. I'm going to extend here, make sure this is colored in underneath the pink, and then I'm going to add a little bit there. I'm going to extend here, and I'm going to work this area right here. I'm not going to do anything with the top of that just yet, except for right here. And then I'm going to do the back side on the second one. I'm not going to do anything on the top one. So I'm going to add here. Again, just this top one, and then that's it. And we're going to color in here. And this back feather gets completely finished right there. Now we're going to repeat the same process on this side. So at least you get to see the process twice. So extending from here and then filling in underneath the pink. Brushing up from here. Same thing on this one. Then this one right here, we're going to be extending here on the back side. And then remember this one, just one little touch in the front and then along the back side. Nothing on this one. Under here. Oops, that one got a little away from me, a little wonky. and then right up here. And that's it for that one. And we're going to fill this one and then completely fill that tiny one there. So now we have our, you can see the dark shadow part right where the body is. And then we start getting lighter on the outside. That's the important part we want to really focus on. Now I'm going to switch this up real quick. We're now going to switch to the very, very lightest color, which is the pink. Only because I want to get a base coat on there before I come in with the blue, because we'll have to do a little blend between the blue and the pink when we get to that point, and I want to already have some pink down on the paper. I'll show you what that means and what that looks like. And we're only going to do it on the outside feathers. We are not going to do it in the face. This is just an accent for the tips of these wings. So for now, all we're going to do is just the tips of the wings. Just a little bit of pink right at the tip. So the smaller the wing gets, the smaller the pink. Just teeny tiny right there at the bottom. I'm only going to put them on the outside wings, not on the inside wings. I just want to give a little bit of accent on those fully grown wings. These are the baby wings. And this will just help us later with the blending from the blue-green to the pink. There we go. And then down here, we did that RV21. So we're just going to finish off those little half circles with this pink color, and those will be done at the bottom. This is where I go rogue and use the pencils to deepen the dark areas. Yes, that's Dale. This is where Dale goes rogue. He likes it, and then he goes color pencil on me. And that's okay. Huh? He's laughing. He's laughing. Okay, next we're going to go back to that BG34, which is the third one in the 4 teal color combination, or blue-green, or however you want to look at that. And we're going to pretend that we didn't put the pink on there for now. And we're going to keep doing what we were doing with the blue greens here. And we're going to start about halfway down and we're going to extend out. But we're not going to do it all the way to the pink, just real close. Might be a little hard for you to see it on camera, but watch where my marker goes on the first 1 or 2 and you'll know. So it's just, there's kind of a little white space in between the two. Not much of one, but a little one. Don't worry if when you first touch your marker on the paper, it looks really dark where you just put ink and where the dried ink is, because as it dries, it will smooth it out and you'll be fine. So don't keep going over it, because then you'll be washing out your colors. So don't do that. Even though you might want to, don't do it. Don't do it. Trust the process. So as you can tell, the first color is the one we do the slowest, because that's the one where we really want to build our specific definition. And then from there, that's when it gets faster, because we already defined what we want to be able to see. So I'm going to flip and do this side first, and then we'll go back and do the inside ones. Yes, Rocket is Dale. He can't sign under Doux Designs because I am. But he is watching and probably coloring along, and that's why he told you exactly when he would go rogue. And don't worry, I'm going to get him on camera to show his changing to color pencils from markers very soon. soon as he builds up a little bit more confidence in his process. Okay, I'm going to go back. This time we're going to do first this row, then we're going to do this row. Okay, so we're going to start here. These are going to end with the next color. They are not going to have pink. So we're going to extend almost to the edge of those tips, leaving just a little bit left for that last color. So now that you've seen a few of them, you can see that the tips are white still. Now, as we get down here, some of these may fill in because they're such tiny spaces that by the time you get way down here, you probably won't have much white left. And that is okay. It's okay for those to be a little darker because they're more in shadow. They're like under the armpit. All right, so for this one, I'm going to start off by softening this line both at the top and the bottom. So I'm just kind of going along the top of the line, just softening that up just a little bit. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to leave just the tips for the next color. So this one gets a little more of this one. So what you may have noticed so far is that each time we went in a little further, the colors we use, there's more of the lighter on the inside and more of the darker up here. This leaves just the top of that shoulder for that last color. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Once I work out the process, hybrid marker pencil. I'm looking forward to those, Dale, says Carla. Yes. And then you'll be able to learn both. Won't that be amazing? Okay, starting with this one, because everyone colors different. So we're going to get Dale to learn up to speed, and then he'll show you from learning what I taught him, what he has adjusted to be his style. Everyone should have their own style. And you should always pick up tips and tricks from people and build your own style. You want someone to look at that colored image and say, oh, I bet so-and-so colored that. I can just tell. So you want to have your own style. Sometimes that takes a little while to get, but just be patient. It'll come to you when it's time. Until then, follow anyone and everyone until you are happy with what you have learned and what you want your style to look like. I mean, when I first started, I colored just like my teacher, the lady who was teaching me how to use the markers. And then one day she was like, wow, that looks way different than what I did. And I was like, yeah, I just called it rogue. I just went rogue and did my own thing. And you will too when you're ready and comfortable. Okay, so we have both wings completed except for the next two colors. And then I'm going to start working on this headpiece right here. So I want to go along the opposite side, leaving the center part as the lightest part. That one, well, most of it will be colored in because it's smaller than the rest. And when you get down here, you'll notice that you've just met up both colors, and that's okay. Just wherever we can leave a little bit, we're going to leave a little bit. This one will probably be filled in as well. And this is when we're going to come along this side and we're going to start building this little area right here where it's the same color all the way across those feathers. That helps to blend those feathers in with the face. So right along that forehead. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to extend this almost to the eye, down the cheek, and right along the neck. On this one, we're going to go under the eye, along the beak, and then up from the bottom, leaving just a tiny cheek spot. I'm also going to do one fine line underneath the beak, and then above it, we're going to start doing this little bit flicking over the nose. And you want to stop it in a different area each time so that it really stands out. Don't worry, it'll blend with everything else and you'll be great. Okay, this is the second to the last teal color, and we are not putting any pink in the body. So we're going to do the brush strokes, leaving small white areas for the last color. Do not go back and forth. You do not want to blend this. You want to leave it with a fur look. So you're just adding some very light brush strokes. I am going down from some and up from others, but I am not doing a back and forth. I don't want to do this type of back and forth like I do when I'm blending colors, because I want to see those brush strokes in there. It helps it look like fur. It gives it texture, and you want that. You don't want your bird to look like it's one big smooth bird. You want to give it some texture. So there's some white in here, like right over that little hip. This one's on the underside, so I'm just going to fill that one in with this color. It doesn't really need a highlight down there. Now for these feathers right here, just leaving a small amount on the top, the tippy top. The rest of it, the underside should be finished now. I'm going to go along the top of this one. This one's underneath, so I am okay with this one being filled in with this color. We're going to go along this edge. Around the outside is kind of what that's like. The underside will get finished. I will extend from here, but I'm not going to do this top portion till I get to the last color. So for this one, I'm going to go along the outside edge, going to go along this back side, and this underside gets filled in. So we're just leaving really tiny areas. Now, since we're going back pretty far, this one's just going to get filled in. The second to the last set of feathers. We're going to do the same thing, exactly the same thing on this side. So starting to fill this in, leaving the tippy edges for the next color, the underside of this one, and then the top side of this one, and all around the edge. The underside one completely done. This one we're going to go along the edge, just the underside completely done, and we're going to extend from here. We're going to leave that all that white space for the next color. Same thing on this one. The underside, all finished. The top side is just the edges. And then this one completely filled in. And now we're starting to really get somewhere. Look at the definition within that beautiful, beautiful bird. And this bird is going to match so nicely with that paper. I'm super excited. I almost want to wake hubby and show him, because he made fun of my blue phoenix. Oh, blue phoenix was cool. Yep. Take some screenshots and say, check out this blue phoenix. And I'll post it too, so you can see it. It'll come out in the next couple of days. The finished card will be posted on the website. Okay, BG32. This is the last blue one. So this is it for the body, the bottom of the feathers, and some of the wings. But I'm going to save the outside of the wings for last. I'm going to go ahead and do the body, get all that full so we can really see the impact of the wings as we get to them. So this time I'm going to start with the top headdress feathers. I'm going to fill in just the areas that are white. So I'm only touching over wherever it's white. I'm not doing that back and forth motion. I'm just touching the white areas to fill them in. This is a blue-green versus this is a light, like more green than blue. And this down here is more blue than green. So that gives you a very beautiful gradient between the two colors. I'm extending now in the white area from the forehead into where the nose is. If there's a line there, you want to work that line. Make sure you get a smooth line there, but don't overwork it. Just give it a chance to dry. Make sure it looks good. If you have to go back, you can go back and finish and fill it in. But for now, just get a little bit of that color in there. So this one I'm going to do underneath the eye, And I'm going to do my filling in of my little white spots away from the eye. I'm going to finish right underneath the beak. There we go. And that should give you the face. The face should be completely done now. Coming down the body, I'm going to start with just the tip of this wing. I'm going to do one fine line right along there. I don't want to do any blending. I don't want to get rid of my middle line, but I want, that's kind of connected to the body, so I want to get that one done. There we go. And then in here, we're just going to fill in any white spaces. Just like this. Just fill in those white spaces only. It's almost like a stippling, but I'm using a bit of a brush motion. So instead of doing a stippling like this, I'm kind of doing it like this. So it's kind of a brush stroke, but it's only in the spots where there's white. So like right here, along that leg, along that body, just kind of filling in and getting a few spots. I want to leave that fur look. Carla said, I'll show them in the morning. Awesome. Glad you enjoyed them. I keep meaning to ask you, do you find it more difficult to color the die cut images? Wouldn't it be better to cut after? Yes, Lisa, if I were you, I would color them before I cut them out. But for the video, you don't have to watch me fussy cut. So I cut them before the video just to save that time on the video, because I don't want you to have to sit there and watch me fussy cut. So yes, it's easier to color it before you cut it out, but that's why I cut it out first. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, all of this down here is going to be the teal blue too. So we're just going to fill in those white spots wherever we need them, along the top of this one, along the top of this one, right here, and that finishes out that side. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I mean, some people like fussy cutting and they like watching it. They don't mind, but it takes a little bit to cut along each one of those little edges, and I didn't want you to have to watch me. Okay. Now, if you remember in the beginning, I said we're going to have pink around the edge, but we are not going to have it on these two layers. So what I'm going to do is start from the outside where it's white and just brush one time into that. I want to keep that color super light. So I'm literally putting my marker down in the dark and brushing towards the light. Don't want to do more than one teeny tiny little brush stroke on that. You don't want to blend that out. You just want to get a very light shade of that color on here. The steps will be different for the outside, so let's go ahead and finish this inside one first. So while this image looks like it's difficult to do, it's really not. If you break it down in sections and steps, it's really not that hard. But when you get done, the powerful look of it, how awesome it looks and how detailed it looks like you worked really hard on it, when really you just followed a few steps, which is amazing. You're never usually awake to ask. You're usually watching the replay. Well, we appreciate you watching the replay too. Okay, here's where this part gets tricky. So I'm going to have my BG32 open, and I'm going to open my RV10. I want to have both markers at the same time. So I'm going to brush into the pink just a little bit. And then I'm going to grab the pink and brush back into the teal. That should put a very smooth transition between the two colors. So we're going to be switching the marker. It's a little bit tedious, but we're going to do it anyway. right? Because we're going to make it look smooth and pretty. So brush into the pink, and then from the pink into the teal. I use a little bit heavier hand when I go from the pink into the teal, and a little bit lighter hand when I go the teal into the pink. And it helps blend those two colors nicely. This is how you can do this process for hair as well. If you want to give someone tips on their hair, it's really helpful. Carla said, Sandy, you truly did such an amazing job on this release. The feathers are just amazing. Yay! I'm so glad. I love to hear that you guys like these. I'm going to do 2 this time because it's a really small area. I don't want it to dry before I get done. And then down here, this is such a small area that I'm just going to touch just the pink over the teal, just to keep those tips a little bit on the pink side. And then that is it for that side. So there is some true pink on there. And if you're coloring along with me, you can really see it on here. The camera doesn't show the pink as well as you can see it in real life. But if you're coloring along, I'm sure you see it on yours. So other side, brush into the pink, then from the pink into the teal, from the teal to the pink, from the pink to the teal. And you can really use any 2 colors as long as they're very close in tone so that they match up and you don't have to blend a whole lot. And you can get that very beautiful color. You can do it with just about any color. Like I could have made these purple or yellow or pink or blue, green, any color you like. You guys know that song? That's what I started reminding myself that I sounded like 2 this time. Here we go. And then for the last few, I'm just going to add the pink, just like I did on the other side to keep that pink going. If I feel like I need to work any of those lines, I can come back with the teal and just add a teeny tiny bit wherever the lines need to be worked. And then back over with the pink, and we should be good. So that completes the body of our phoenix. Now we need to do the eyes. I'm going to put a little bit of the blue in the eyes. So are you brushing the light into the dark and not dragging the dark into the pink? Yes, that is correct. So let's just say, for instance, that it looked something like this is the edge of the other color. So I'm extending a little bit from here with the lightest teal, and then I'm taking the pink and I'm brushing back into the teal. So coming out from here into the pink, and then from the pink into the teal, like this. Hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense? There we go. Okay, I want to put this BG15. So this is the second color that we used on the wings. And I'm going to lay my marker closest to the black part of the eyes. Just on the outside of that black line, I'm going to drag this color right along that edge. It's just going to give me a little bit of this blue into the eye. If you happen to go into the white of that eye, don't worry. You can use your white gel pen to fix it. And then I'm going to grab my black multi-liner because I stamped this and I don't think the eyes are dark enough. So I'm going to darken the eyes. Hi, Danielle. I've been watching on the big screen. Time to say, beautiful Phoenix. Thank you. Oh, and I like check. Oh, yes. Like check, please. Now I'm going to use my multi-liner. The one I use is Le Pen from Marvi Yukaida. it has to say alcohol-based ink or it won't work with your alcohol markers. So make sure that yours says alcohol-based ink before you use it. Or you can use a Copic multi-liner, or you can use anything that works with alcohol markers. There are a lot of them on the market, so just choose the one that works for you. I'm going around these whites in the eyes. I am making the whites a little smaller, not on purpose, but I'm going to go over it with the white gel pen so it doesn't matter. And because I want this whole eye to stand out and I want to do the little flicks for the eyelashes, I am going to do one line over the whole eye, and then I'm going to flick out for the eyelashes. And this is just going to make those eyes stand out so much better. So can you see between this one and that one how much better those eyes look? And I'm just going to do that on this side as well. But I'm only going to do it on the eyes. I'm not going to do it on anything else. I want those eyes to be a little bit of a focal point. So I'm going to do them. It'll look better when I do the white gel pen, but I need a second for it to dry before I put the white gel pen on there. And then I am going to make this into a card. I did show you the card, the pattern paper that I chose to use. It is part of the new Fantasy Realms paper pad. I love that that paper pad makes it so easy to make an entire scene. So there are my eyes, so pretty. I did go a little bit wonky with my eyelash over there, so I'm just going to fix that. I'm not going to put any white gel pen anywhere else, but if you wanted to build more hair, feathers, all that kind of stuff, you can add more white gel pen, whatever you like. This is the piece of paper from our paper pad that I'm going to use. I am going to need to cut it down, but I want to put our phoenix within this beautiful background here. And I love that the same colors are in the background. So we're going to use that, but I need to grab my paper trimmer so I can trim it up. Again, I'm in a hotel, so I'm picking my papers and stuff off the bed so I can bring them over here. There we go. There's my paper trimmer. And then I need my card bases. I mean, not that this hotel room is all that big, but I seem to be struggling with finding stuff. Here it is. So I think for the card base, I'm going to try and pick something that is, I think I want to pick either pink or teal. So let me just pull out all the card bases I brought, and we'll just match up whether the pink or teal works better. So I think I brought the sea foam. This is the sea foam color, so it's pretty. And I think it almost works really nicely. Nope, blue isn't going to work. I also have one that's a little bit darker of a teal color. So that one's very nice too. And I would like to put a little bit of pink in here. So I think I'm going to stick with the lighter one. I really like that one. So I think I'm going to stick with that color. I also brought me some foam tape, so I'm going to use that as well. And I have this really cute, let's see if I can pick it up with these fingernails. This really cute pink color of paper, and I want to do it as a really fine border around the outside of the paper pad. So I'm going to cut my paper. So my card base is an A2. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and score that real quick. Okay. So we have the card base. I'm trying to keep those markers because they seem to be keeping the focus really good because I forgot to bring the focus thing. And then I'm going to cut this one 1/4 of an inch smaller. So I'm going to cut it to, excuse me, I'm going to cut it to 5 1/4. I need it to be, yeah, here we go. I'll cut it at 5 1/4. Let's see if I can go, I'm going to go a little bit further than that so I can get some straight lines on this piece of scrap paper I had. So let's turn it around. We'll do 5 1/4. And then I'm going to cut it by 4. So it's 1/4 of an inch smaller. So this is going to give me a bit of a mat for this. And then I'm going to want to place that this pattern paper on top of that, but I don't want to give it a full 1/4 of an inch around the outside. So I'm only going to cut it 1/8 of an inch smaller. So this one is going to go to 5 1/8. Oh no, this way. I don't want to get my paper wrong. This paper is too pretty to mess it up. Otherwise, we're flipping it over and using the back. Okay, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And that's going to leave me this side of that picture. Now, I do still have some excess paper here. So I'm going to save that because this paper is so beautiful. I don't want to waste it. And now if I place this on top, I have a teeny tiny 1/8 inch border around there, which is just enough to pick up a little bit of the pink in the wings. So I'm going to attach this one to this one. And look at that. It's so pretty on the back. Like the whole thing is super pretty. Okay, I left my glue open the whole time we were doing our video, so I got to put my little dinosaur pin in there and just wiggle it around, and then it'll work again. That's why I love Barely Art glue. It might get a little cloggy right up there at the top, but you just put your little dinosaur pin in there. Just move it up and down and it'll loosen up that glue and you'll be good to go. Now I'm going to place this card base, this right on top of my matting. I'm watching the clock because we're going to see a movie tonight. I'm so excited. We're going to go see the end of Oak Street. The end of Oak Street. It has dinosaurs in it. And you guys know I like dinosaurs, so I'm super excited. Okay, I'm going to pop this up, this matte piece right here up, just so we get a little bit of dimension with our image. And unfortunately, I only brought my teeny tiny scissors, so don't laugh at me too loud while you're watching me try to cut this huge piece of this huge piece with my teeny tiny little scissors. They still work. They're just a little bit harder to do. There we go. And then I'm going to place it on top of here. And I'm just going to cut the excess piece off of here, but I have to do it with my teeny tiny scissors again. So time to laugh one more time. There we go. You seen the trailer? It looks like a good movie. Yeah, it has some really good actors and actresses in it. So I think it's going to be really good. It's at 9:45. So I'm doing pretty good because it's only 9:12 now. So I think we're going to be able to do it. And we had a late lunch, so we're going to be able to eat popcorn, which is super exciting because I don't get popcorn very often. So there we go. Now we have that piece to pop up. I'm going to take off the back. I love these because they're so much easier than doing the little dots and then having to peel them all off. And then if you're afraid you can't lay it down flat the first time because this is going to stick immediately when you put it on there, then put glue on the back of the sticky and it will give you an opportunity to move it around. But I think I'm going to eyeball this time. Ha ha ha. Nice. Okay. I think we got it pretty much centered, so I'm really happy with that. I'm going to flip it over and use my press tool to rub that so we get a really good adhesion. I love this tool. I use it for everything. If you don't have one, you can pick one up in the shop. This is multicolor. When you turn it, it changes colors. So pink, green, and blue, and purple. And if you, or we have it in just purple, pink, teal, all kinds of colors. Just check it out on the website. Now, I'm going to put this, I might put it, I think I'm going to put it right there along the edge. And I also have some sentiment options that I thought about using. So I thought about using this. I have some rose gold foiled happy birthday, but I thought, not sure if I want it to be that small. It will fit right up there and be nice. But I also have like this hello, which is super cute. But maybe I want to do birthday. So I have these. I cut a bunch of these the other day, so I'd have them ready when I wanted to use them. And they're layered 3. I cut them 3 times and glued them together. So they're thick and they kind of pop up. And I sort of like that. So I think I'm going to go with this. We'll add a few bling over here and we'll be in good shape. So I think this is how we're going to lay out our card. I'm going to slide this over just enough that I don't want it hanging off the edge of the card. If you want to know how I roll the wings up and not attach them to the paper, I'm going to show you that. It's super easy. I take this. This is my poker tool. You can use any tool you want, but I take my poker tool and I just roll the wings over the poker tool. You can do it with a pen. You can do it with anything you want. But I just kind of roll them up a little bit and then they pop up like this. And then they look pretty cool sticking up like that when you have them on a card. So this is how I did that. I just rolled them, just kind of wiggle them along on there and they pop up. So when you look at them from the top, you can see they're sticking up. And then I just don't put any glue on the tips of the wings. And when you get the card, it's kind of standing up. So I really just put the glue to right there so the wings will stay up. And go up here. And then all of this I'll glue down. And then I'm going to place that on my card. Right here. And look, it says cake recipes on the background. So it's perfect for birthday. Then I'm going to press with my press tool here. My wings are standing up. These ones are laying down. I like that. And then I'm going to glue my happy birthday on there. And see, we went through all the instructions on how to color this adorable little phoenix. And we're just about an hour and we've already built almost most of our cards. So you really can color these faster than you think. I mean, that's not so bad, really. Oops. And then I'm going to glue my happy. Are you in Indiana? Craft Roulette? I am not. No, I am in Oklahoma. Craft Roulette is in Kansas City. I was going to go there, but we had a plan change due to the people we were going to meet up with weren't able to go anymore. So we will be participant to some of the after party over on Happy Crafty Ho Ho channel later after the Craft Roulette, but I'm not. I went last year. I just couldn't make it this year. There we go. I'm going to press that down. And then I did bring my bling because you guys know how much I love my bling. I did bring my bling with me. And I think because we're accenting the pink, I'm going to use the pink. I think this is called Pink Lemonade in our shop. It's just rhinestones called Pink Lemonade. And I'm just going to put a couple of them right up here at the top. To finish it off. And I don't really care what size they are. There's several sizes in here. Well, maybe I don't want the really big one. There we go. But I don't care if they're medium or small or whatever. I'm just going to pick up whatever picks up on my brush. Like there's a tiny one. So I'm going to use the tiny one if it'll stay on my tool. There we go. And then let's see, what color will I pick up next? I mean, what size will I pick up next? Oh, it's a little bit smaller. Look, I got 3 different sizes. Look at that. How crazy is that? So now I'm going to press those down with my press tool. This just gets a really good grip between the paper and the glue. Don't worry if the glue seeps out around the edges. It dries clear and invisible, so you won't see that when it dries. It will also allow you to see the pink a little better once the glue dries underneath. So no worries about that. Now we have this beautiful little Phoenix card that we made. So if you don't have your Phoenix yet, the stamp set is called, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. It is called Magical Birthday. It has the unicorn we did on Tuesday and the Phoenix we did tonight. There are sentiments, Magical Birthday, surprise, and may your birthday be as unique as you. And you can pick these up in the shop. And right now, our entire release bundle is on sale, 15% off if you get the whole bundle. So make sure you visit us at www.Ledoux Design, spelled just like this, Ledoux Designs, here's the website, .com. LedouxDesigns.com. That's where you can find our shop. All the artwork is drawn by me. And yeah, and that's it. And my husband and I come up with the concepts. He works with me on the ideas and angles and size, all that stuff. And then I actually draw the art. So yeah, we do it together. It's a 2-man team. So I hope you enjoyed that tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to come back next Tuesday for the next coloring class at 8 p.m. Central on Tuesday. And love you guys. Thank you for coming. I was so excited to color with you tonight, but alas, my order didn't arrive. Oh, but it's on the way, Danielle. Great job. Thanks for sharing tonight. Thanks. Have fun at your movie. And yay! Thank you, everyone. Love you. And I will see you guys on the next one. Good night.